Okay, so here's a look at some of the ways that we can solve for angles and relate angles. So let's say that we're given this picture and it says that this is a parallelogram. So the parallelogram is going to be outlined here. I should have used a different color here. Um, Following these straight lines, but it's this green shape. And in a parallelogram, we know that the opposite sides are parallel. And so I like to use this little symbol right here to show that these lines are parallel. And then these lines, I'm going to give them two markings because it's not parallel to this one, but it's parallel over here to this one over here. So again, this line right here, maybe we'll call it M and N. So M is parallel to N, and then W and X. W is parallel to X. So then we have this line in between, and it's saying, what is this line in between? So if we just extend it, now I'm not extending it quite straight because of my tools on my computer, but this line could be a transversal through the parallel lines of W and X. So when we're given that this angle is 54 and this angle is 54, then it says, what is the measure of this one down here? Well, if we look at this as two parallel lines, this one and this one, and we have this green transversal through it, then below the red and next to the green, below the red and next to the green is going to be the same. They're going to be corresponding angles. So this one corresponds to this one down here, so I can call that 54. But in the same way, we have all right, so I may not have started out quite the right way because we started with these red ones, but we could then go the same thing. Oh, I thought I changed that. To these two parallel lines that I'm going to draw, just going to draw on top of them in orange just so we can see things well. So if we're looking at these two parallel lines in orange and this green transversal, then between the orange and the green, we may have to go down here. Oh, we could use this one. So right here between the orange and the green, we are inside the parallel lines and we are on this side of the transversal. So alternate of that transversal, but still inside the parallel lines is this one right here. So my two orange circles are alternate interior angles. So then I can label this one as 54. Why can I label this as 54? Because of the alternate interior angles with M and N being the parallel lines. So we always have to go back to what parallel lines are we using and how do those angles relate to each other? In this case, they're alternate interior angles. You could have gone at it from a different way. If we had said, well, I know that this one's 54, so I know that this one up here is 54 because these are vertical angles. So vertical angles are also congruent. And then I could say, well, this is between the green and the orange on the top, and this is between the green and the orange. So then I could have related these two as corresponding angles, still 55, 54, because corresponding angles are also congruent. So if you didn't see the alternate interior, you maybe could have taken two steps. You could have said vertical and then corresponding. But let's just finish off right here. If this one is 54, then down below it is also 54 because of vertical angles. And then because this one is 54, this one is also 54 because of vertical angles. And then if we needed to know this one right here, we could say this green line is a straight line. On this green line, we have a 54, we have this blank, and then we have another 54. So the straight line is 180 minus a 54 and a 54 is 108. Then we could have gotten that we have, I'm going to do this wrong, 72 left. Yeah, 80 minus 8 is 72. So then this right here would have been 72. So when we have a big picture like this, sometimes extending the lines helps us to see something. Maybe color coding the parallel lines, color coding this set of parallel lines, and then looking with the transversal, what lines, what angles correspond, which ones might be alternate interior or alternate exterior, and then definitely the vertical angles you should be labeling right away. So let's give this another look at a very different one. So how would I start here? What things do I know? What things do I want to know? So it might just say like label every angle on this picture. And it says that this top line is parallel to this bottom line. So at least we know this much. We do see this 90-degree angle. So I could go on the other side of it and say this one is 90 because these two angles are adjacent. They're next to each other and they are on a straight line. So they will add up to 180, which means they're supplementary. So adjacent next to each other, adding up to 180 because they're on a straight line makes them supplementary. I'm going to start up at the top. So this right here is a straight line. So those angles will add up to 180. So I will take the 180 for all three of these and I'm going to subtract 78. So I'll get 102 and then I'm going to subtract this 64. And I have to do a lot of math, but 38 is what I get. So this one is 38. And then I'm going to look around. I need some other angles. You know, this is a triangle down here, or I've got the big triangle, but I don't have enough because I don't have this one right here. I don't know what this is. I see this 90, but I don't know what this one is up here. So I may have to use the parallel lines. So here's a parallel line. It's parallel to this one down here. And then what if I use this side as the transversal? Maybe I'll do it a golden color, kind of close to yellow, but a little different. Okay, I can extend it to help me see what I'm looking for. And I'm going to say that this is right here relates to, so it's between orange and yellow. It's inside the orange. It's on the right side of the yellow. So if I go inside the orange and on the left side of the yellow down here, then both of these will add up to the 78. So I know both of them add up to 78, and I already have that this little one is 26. So if I take 78 minus 26, I will get 52 goes in this one. So I'm going to just draw it up here so I don't mess up too much. Okay, so now I'm looking and I see this triangle right here. So that triangle right here, I know the angles will add up to 180. So I'm going to do 180 minus 52. I always have to write everything down when I do it on the computer because if I get it wrong, everybody would laugh at me. No, I wouldn't be a very good teacher if I got it all wrong. We subtracted 52, and now we're going to subtract 38. Now I can do that part in my head. The 8s are 0, and 12 minus 3 is 9. So this is also a 90-degree angle. It didn't label it as a right angle, but it turns out it is. Okay, so we're getting closer. Now we have a couple more. We still need this one here and these two like corner ones, but we don't have enough yet there. And then we need, you know, these two here. We don't quite have enough there. A couple things that we could do. I see another triangle. This one down here that we now have two angles for. So I'm going to take 180 minus the right angle minus 90. So I know that's 90. And then I'm going to do that minus 26. So I get 54. So this one has to be 54. And now, let's see, there's a lot of ways that I could go here. I know that this is a straight line. So I could do all of these adding up to 180 and get this right here. Or I could have used the very big triangle in the middle, knowing that these two together add up to 78 and this is 38. So then I could have gotten this little corner down here. I could try to connect this transversal and use some of my alternate, alternate interior. So this one is going to be between the orange and the gray. Between the orange and the gray, alternate of that is 64. And so then I have 90 minus 64 will be, 80. Okay, so we have the answer now as 26. So that was, these two will add up to 90 because of 180 and already having 90. So when we subtract that, we get 26 right here. And then if we double check, 90 and 54 and 26. Oh, I must have done this one wrong. I did the same thing over here. So look at this. This should have been 80. This should have been 64. So 90 and 64 and 26 add up to 180. There's my subtraction problem over here that I did incorrectly. But because I went from a different way, I found that, and they should all work out every time. Okay, so let's look at some of the extra credit and see if we can find the answers here. So we have, this is 44. I'm going to use a vertical angle and find this as 44. And then if I wanted, I could do this one, but I don't really need to at the moment. I can use this straight line. 78 and 44 and F will add up to 180. So 180 minus 78 is 102 minus 44. Oops, I'm doing it again. 12 minus 4 is 8, and 9 minus 4 is 58. So F right here is 58. Now I have that this side is 90 degrees. So on the other side of this straight line right here has to be 90 degrees. And I already have 64. So 90 minus 64, 8 minus 6 is 26. So E right here is 26. I should be putting degrees on everything. Okay, now we have this symbol that these are parallel lines. So let's draw that out a little bit. We have this as a parallel line, and this is a parallel line, and we want C and D down here. So I'm going to look at the line that touches C and D as the transversal. I'm going to go ahead and look. This 78 is inside the red and on the left side of the orange. So inside the red and on the right side of the orange would be alternate interior. So D is also 78. And then I can just add up to 180. So if D is 78, C is 180 minus 78. We've already done that right here. So that's 102. And then we may look at a different color. So again, with the red lines, and I'm going to draw the blue transversal. This one's a little harder to see because we're going to have to put a couple things together. So like this right here, 44 and F, which we know is 58. So 58 and 44 gives me 102. So if this is 102 between the red and the blue, which inside the red parallel lines and on the right side of the blue. So down here inside the parallel lines and on the left side would be an alternate interior angle. So A will be 102. We could also then look at corresponding angles. So this one between the red and the blue, on the below the red and beside the blue, below the red and beside the blue is B. So this one is corresponding to this 78. So B should be 78 degrees. And 102 and 78 do add up to 180. So we haven't missed anything there. So I think that solves that. We have A, B, C, D, E, and F solved. You'll notice that in a lot of these triangles and straight lines, you're going to get the same numbers over and over again, depending on how they are arranged in the picture, because we're adding up to 180 most of the time. At the last one here, this one looks really complicated, but it's really just trying to put your algebra skills with your geometry skills. So we know that inside this triangle, we are adding up to 180 degrees. We don't know what any of these are, but if we look, they all contain an x. So we just have to add them up. 3x minus 18 degrees plus x plus 7 degrees plus x minus 9 degrees has to add up to 180 degrees. Now we can just kind of ignore the degrees symbol at this point because they're all going to be degrees. They all add up to that, and because we're really solving for the x. So I'm going to combine the x's. I have a 3x, an x, and another x. So that is 5x. And then I'm going to combine my numbers, minus 18 plus 7 and minus 9. So minus 18 and minus 9 is a minus 27, and then plus 27 is going to give me a minus 20. And that all equals this side, which is 180. Now we have a much easier algebraic expression or equation that we can solve. We're going to start with moving the 20 to the other side. That means we're going to add it to both sides. So over here, a minus 20 and a plus 20 adds up to 0. So we're just left with 5x plus 0, and we can ignore the 0. And then 180 plus 20 gives me 200. Now I have 5x equals 200. That means 5 x's. Well, I want to divide by 5 to get 1x. So I'll divide this side by 5. So we get a 1x is equal to 200 divided by 5, which will be 40. So x equals 40. Now we're almost done, except we need to do this other triangle because there's one little y in this one. You could write them all out and set them equal to 180 and then put the 40 in, or you could put the 40 in right here. So 40 plus 21 is 61. 40 plus 17 is 57. So 61 plus 57 gives me 118. So 180 minus 118 is what y will be. So 62 for y.